I've got 99 problems, but rotator cuff ain't one. Today we'll be going over the top 5 exercises of Bulletproof your rotator cuff. All right, number 5 on the list, it is the face pull. Now you could do this with a band or you could do it with a cable pulley machine. You could do it bilaterally, which means with both hands, or you could just do a single arm. For today's video, I'm gonna be just doing it with a single arm using a light monster band. So to do this exercise, you're going to anchor a band at about shoulder height, and you're going to just be grabbing one end of it with your hand. For the face pull, if you want to increase rotator cuff engagement, there have been some studies that suggest that increasing grip will increase rotator cuff engagement. So I'm going to hold the band this way so that I can activate my rotator cuff a little bit more than usual. So this exercise will target your external rotators more specifically. So your infraspinatus and teres minor, your other 2 rotator cuff muscles will be acting as co-contractors to stabilize that shoulder joint. To get started, we're going to have a little bit of tension in that band to start. And from there, you're going to pull that arm, keeping that elbow at shoulder height. You'll be pulling that arm so that you're rotating the hand back into the top position. Now, when you're doing this, as you can see, it's almost like I'm trying to do a bicep flex where I'm trying to show off my biceps to you, the camera, but I'm trying to show it off to the anchor point of either the cable pulley machine or the band. So I'm pulling it there. You're going to give it a good 1-2 second contraction, and then you're going to come and back off of that tension, and you're going to repeat. Now, when it comes to bulletproofing your shoulder, since there aren't really a ton of shoulder issues at this point, but this exercise is really good for bulletproofing, especially if you're a weightlifter, you like to lift some iron in the gym. You do anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. Let's go to exercise number 4. Up next at number 4, we have a banded foam roller wall slide. So you're going to take a loop band. I have a light one here. Now, unless you're super strong in your rotator cuff, you're probably going to have to stick with a light band. Next, you're going to need a foam roller and a blank open space against the wall. So what we're going to do first is put a band looped around your wrists, and you're going to place that foam roller at about chest height against the wall. From here, you're going to have your hands about shoulder distance apart, and you're going to use the pinky surface of your hand to stabilize that foam roller against the wall. What's really important is that you're maintaining a neutral rotation in your shoulders. So the band is going to pull you into internal rotation, which is this way. You have to contract your external rotators for that anti-internal rotation, and that's going to work your shoulders as stabilizers. So from here, I'm going to then roll this foam roller up the wall, and it's going to progressively work its way down towards my elbow, maintaining that rotation. I'm gonna feel my rotator cuff muscles burn, and I'm gonna hold that end range position and then come back down. Now, the great thing about this exercise is that you can also engage your serratus anterior just by doing a little bit of scapular protraction at the same time. So it's now 2 birds with 1 stone. And while you're doing that, you're going to roll up and you're gonna feel everything fire up and come back down. All right, so that finishes our 4th exercise. Let's go to number 3. Up next at number 3 is a banded external rotation uppercut. So we're going to need a band anchor. I'm going to take my monster band here. I'm going to loop it around at about chest height. From here, I'm going to grab one end of it with my target arm. Now, this is really important. This is now resisting anti-internal rotation, just like that last exercise. So it's really important that you keep your fist in line with your elbow and the rest of your arm. So with a 90-degree bend in my elbow at all times during this exercise, I'm going to raise that elbow up to about shoulder height, give or take an inch or 2. What's really important is that you make sure this wrist doesn't rotate internally. Likewise, relatively speaking, internal rotation of the shoulder looks like your elbow flaring out. Again, that's the same sort of kind of angle. If you do that, you're not going to really feel it in your rotator cuff as much. So here, once again, we're training our external rotators, your teres minor, infraspinatus will fire right up during this exercise. You're going to do anywhere between 8 to 12 reps or as tolerated. If you can't do that, do as many as you can pain-free, and 2 to 3 sets. All right, next exercise is going to use some dumbbells. This exercise is called a Lou raise, which is a modified lateral raise combined with the shoulder press type of motion. So unlike a regular lateral raise where your palms are facing downwards, we're going to go into a thumbs up position or a full cam position for this exercise. This is because it more effectively targets your supraspinatus muscle, again, one of your 4 rotator cuff muscles. So to get started, hold on to that weight, palm facing forwards, working within your scapular plane, which is about 15 degrees in front of you. And you're going to go up, and not stop at 90 degrees, you're actually going to go all the way up so your hands are straight above your head. Bit of a shrug here to get your upper trap engaged so that they're supporting your supraspinatus muscle, and then coming back down, nice and slow tempo. And you're going to do anywhere between 8 to 12 repetitions of this. 2 or 3 sets, really depends on your exercise goals, making sure the tempo is nice and clean. All right, my favorite exercise to bulletproof your rotator cuff is the pull back press. You could do this using a cable pulley machine or an exercise band like this one I have here, a monster band. We're gonna put the band anchored at about chest to shoulder height. What you're going to do is you can do this with both hands if you have two cable pulley systems. I'm just going to focus on my one right now. And this is a combined movement between face pull and a shoulder press. This will work 3 out of the 4 rotator cuff muscles directly, and it'll work your subscapularis indirectly as a co-contractor. So here we go. You take that band, grip it with a good amount of strength so that you could increase your rotator cuff activation. And you're going to pull it back into the end position of a face pull. But this is actually the pull back press's starting position. So it's a little bit harder than your face pull exercise. From here, you're going to do a shoulder press motion, elevating the hand above your head, and you're going to come back down, and that finishes a single repetition. So even at rest, you're not really fully rested. You're going to feel those rotator cuff muscles activating. What's really important though is that you make sure your hand doesn't go forwards when you're at the top of the motion, and you find that you start to do that, it just means you're fatiguing. So just step a little bit closer to the anchor point so that you can actually deload that muscle. I'll show you what I mean right now. So if I do a face pull right here, and then I go up and I see that my hand is actually going forwards relative to the vertical line my body creates, you just take a quick step forwards, make sure you have that full vertical pull, and then you pull it back down. So usually that's a sign that you're just starting to fatigue. So if your first few reps are nice and clean back here, and then you start fatiguing, it's fine to take a small step forward. That way you can grade the exercise with how much fatigue your rotator cuff muscles are experiencing, and you should find that this is gonna be a much more effective way at strengthening out that rotator cuff. All right, so that sums up my 5 favorite exercises to bulletproof your shoulder. If you wanna see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any questions. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. If you're looking for any physiotherapy or sports chiro needs in Markham or Toronto, you could click in the link in the caption below to book an appointment. See y'all next time. Peace.